and kind of how your nutrition might differ from just a non-student athlete. So that's why you're here. I'm Abi Boxberger. I am a registered dietitian nutritionist at Claire Barton Hospital in Hoisington, which is like 10 minutes from here for anybody that's not from around here. I'll kind of give you a little spiel about me. So I played volleyball out here in 2014. I played, like one semester here, and then I transferred up to K-State where I finished my dietetics degree. I graduated K-State this past December, and then I moved back here because I'm from here. Started working at the hospital in January, and then became a registered dietitian in February after I passed my credentialing exam. So there's that, and then that's my husband Bryce. We got married last year. And that is our two dogs. Mine is the stupid looking golden retriever, and then his is the black lab. So that's our little life. Let me get to the next part here. So today I'll kind of be talking about little tweaks that you guys can make in your everyday diets and what you're doing that make a huge difference between the average person and then an athlete. So it's just little tiny tweaks here and there that is going to make such a huge difference in how well you're performing. Okay, so my plate. It's very basic. You probably saw it going through elementary school, high school, and if you haven't seen it, here you go. But it's just a very basic way of how you should be filling up every single plate at every single meal. So I wrote up here for the girls. I'm going to kind of explain a little bit of how your body metabolizes things because later in the presentation it'll make more sense as far as like what I'm blurting out. But your body knows how to digest carbs, protein, fat, and alcohol. I only say alcohol. It shouldn't be part of your everyday diet, obviously, but your body metabolizes that different than it does carbs, protein, and fat. So up here, what all would be a carb that your body is digesting? Just blurt something out. Okay, grains, most obvious one is a carb. What else is a carb? Fruit, what else? Did someone just say proteins? Boys. Oh my Lord. All right, maybe we need some more basic nutrition. So far, obviously protein is the protein, so that's not a carb. So we have grains, fruit. What else would be a carb that your body's metabolizing? Vegetables, what else? Dairy. So your body recognizes vegetables, fruits, grains, and dairy as a carb. I only say this because, like, say you eat an apple or an orange or something, you eat that and your body doesn't, it's not like, oh, I'm going to send this to the apple metabolism. It recognizes it as a carb. Those are the only four things your body metabolizes, is carbs, protein, fat, and alcohol. So all of those fit within one of those. Fat obviously doesn't have its own group because depending on the way things are cooked, you're getting fat in your diet. So yeah, does everyone kind of understand that? Okay, because usually I see it a lot. People are like, oh, I'm cutting out carbs, no more carbs. I mean, you can't just live off of protein, so you can't do it. So it's one thing to kind of cut down on the grains, but cutting out all of carbs, you're cutting out so much of your diet that it's just not a realistic thing. So yeah, your body can't live off of protein. No, he's not even paying attention. So on here, again, just basic nutrition advice. This is a nutrition facts label. You see it on everything. The first thing you would want to look at is the big bolded number. So that's the 230 number. That's the calories in that item. So when I say in that item, I mean the serving size of that thing. So up there when it says 2/3 of a cup, there's 230 calories in 2/3 of a cup of whatever this nutrition facts label is. And these percentages that you see are how many, it's the distribution of these macronutrients that you should have in a day. So 45 to 65% of your diet should be carbohydrates. That number kind of freaks people out a lot because they think, oh, I can't eat 45 to 65% of bread, pasta, rice, things like that. But as we just learned on the previous slide, carbohydrates are fruits, vegetables, dairy, and grains. So they make up a majority of that plate, so it's a majority of your diet. So, following? Yep, okay. You guys are a lot less talkative than the girls were, so. Yeah, either you're really paying attention or no one wants to be here, so I'll work with both. Okay, I'll let them sit down first. So does anyone have any questions so far? Anything? If you have any questions, just blurt them out when I'm on that slide. Don't wait till the end, unless you want to, I guess. So the eating frequency for student athletes, I mean, you can't really read it, but I'll read that off on the side real fast. But it's really important for student athletes, especially, I guess it's important for everyone, but especially for student athletes. Consistent eating patterns are going to get you the best performance. So say that you eat a whole bunch one day and then you skip a day of eating, your body is not going to function very well compared to people who are eating a pretty consistent amount every day. Your body likes you a lot more for that. But over on the side there, it just says, like, start your day off right. So you all heard it growing up, breakfast is the most important meal of the day. If you don't like breakfast, don't eat it, but eat more at lunch. So there's that. So just start your day off getting energy into your body. Second part is keep your energy up during practice. So we want to make sure you're well fueled to get through practice. And then the last part of that is replenishing your body during that recovery phase. So what are you doing after practice to really kind of build back up your energy stores to get you through the rest of that day and then into the next day ready for practice again. So the fueling during exercise, these are the signs of your being underfueled. So I'll kind of read those since you can't see it. But if you're experiencing breakthrough hunger in early or mid-practice, that's a sign of you're not fueled enough. So if you start out practice and you feel great, 20, 30 minutes in, you are starving to death, that's a sign that you were not well fueled for that practice. If you're working hard, like if you're working really, really hard, but you're not performing to match what you're working hard, or if you're not performing as well as you're working, that's also a sign of being underfueled. And if the quality of your workouts decrease during the course of the week, so if you start out Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, lots of energy, you're good to go. Thursday, Friday, you're dead to the world. That's a sign that you haven't been fueling your body good enough. If you feel more sluggish and are more easily frustrated than the rest of your teammates, that can be a sign that you don't have enough energy in you. And you can read that. When you're underfueled, you can expect poor return on your training efforts and a higher risk of colds and other illnesses. I kind of go into that a little bit deeper, I think, in the next slide. But when you're underfueled, your body has to search for other ways to fuel you, and it starts breaking down other things in your body, and then that stresses your body out, weakens your immune system, you start having illnesses, you start, breaking bones or whatever. So it's just, we have to make sure you're well fueled, is the point I'm making on this slide. So if you don't remember anything, you can remember you gotta be well fed for practice. This slide has a lot of information, so bear with me here. So like I said just a second ago, when you're experiencing hunger, your body is in a catabolic state, so it's breaking something else down to give you more energy. So when you run out of that quick carbohydrates during practice, so your body runs off of carbs. That's the only thing your body uses for energy is carbs. So when you run out of those carbs, your body starts breaking down glycogen stores in your liver and in your muscles to give you energy. So guys, if you are not well fueled, you don't want your body breaking down your muscle, because I'm going to assume most of you want your muscle and want to keep building your muscle. So if you're not well fed, well fueled for practice, and you start feeling hungry, your body's breaking down your muscles, so you literally are not building any muscle during that practice or during that weight training or whatever you're doing, because we want to keep you well fueled so that your body is in an anabolic state, so that's building. Anabolic, build, more muscle. Catabolic, break down, no muscle. Okay? With me? Okay. Are you with me? You're glazed over here. Yeah.
Is there a name for breaking down fat?
Huh?
For breaking down fat, is there a name for that?
Yeah, I don't remember what it is though. Yeah. So yeah, we want to just make sure you're well fueled. Okay, what's the next one here? Okay, so underfueled athletes, like I said, your body goes into your liver and into your muscles to break down glycogen to turn it into energy for you to use during practice. If your body is breaking that down consistently every single practice, it's going into your liver and your muscles. You're not going to be recovering after that practice at all. So yeah, we just want to make sure you're well fueled. Yes.
If you just stop eating carbs, what'll happen to you?
So have you heard of okay, so he asked if you stop eating carbs, what will happen to you? So you'll put your body into a state of ketosis. I know the keto diet is super popular right now, and a lot of people don't really know how to do it, so they're not actually going into ketosis, but when you literally have no form of carbs in your body, that's called glucose. When you have no glucose, your body starts breaking down ketone bodies in your blood and up in your brain, and so when you are functioning off of that, it becomes very dangerous because you can put yourself in ketoacidosis, and it just becomes very, very dangerous. For anybody that's I don't know if anyone's a diabetic or has diabetics in their family, but when they go into ketosis, that's a very serious go to the hospital type thing, and the same thing can happen to people without diabetes when they aren't having those carbs because they're functioning off of ketones, which is, your body doesn't like it. So does that kind of answer? It's just I don't know, it's just a very dangerous way of living because your body doesn't like to function on ketones. So I don't know if that answers it or not. And then the number over here, during practices, your body can absorb 30 to 60 grams of carbs. We'll kind of go over what that means so you don't have to remember that number. And then glycogen repletion, so the glycogen in your liver and in your muscles, so that's what your body uses after it runs out of carbs. Replenishing those, it's really important to do it right after practice. So we'll kind of talk about why it's important to get that in right after practice. So I think a common misconception is right after practice, I need all this protein. I need to drink all this protein. You actually need carbs. So yeah, I don't know. Does that make sense? Yes. Okay.
It's okay.
Next one. So before practice, I kind of talked about making sure you're well fueled kind of in the morning or for breakfast and lunch. If you eat breakfast, making sure to really hit the carbs hard at breakfast because that's going to stay with you for practice to give you energy. Remember, carbs give you energy. So more toast, more oatmeal, more yogurt, just more fruit, just more carbs at breakfast and at lunch. Trying to take snacks with you to class and everything so that you're not, really hungry before you do go to practice. And then say you have practice at 3 o'clock in the afternoon. At lunch, you want to make sure you're eating protein and fiber. So fiber's in pretty much all of your carbs. So as long as you're having carbs and protein at lunch, that's going to help you have a successful practice because it has protein and fiber, and that helps carry your carbohydrates longer in your body for energy. So yeah. So on here, during practice, it's important to also replenish your carbs because we want to keep your body in that anabolic building state, and we don't want it breaking down the glycogen in your liver and in your muscles. To do that, we have to give you carbs during that practice. So drinking a little bit of Gatorade. If you're one that can eat during practice and not get sick, maybe eat a banana. I don't think that's probably realistic for most people, especially in hard practices. Or a little packet of honey is enough carbs too. So just trying to remember, like, you do need a little bit of like sugar or carbs like during that practice to give you more energy, so you're not breaking down your muscles or sneaking into your liver to get energy. So, is that making sense?
Yes.
Okay, and then now we're on to more of the recovery stuff. So like I've said, when you're exercising, your body uses carbs to give you energy. And I already covered that next one. So after you use all of those carbs in your bloodstream, your body goes into your muscles and your liver to get more energy. Yeah, and the energy that you have in your muscles and your liver, it's not a lot. It'll get you through practice, or it might get you just under practice, but it's not a lot. Like, that's the stores that are in your muscles and in your liver are like your body's emergency, like, carbohydrate stores. You don't want to be tapping into those a lot. So on to the next one. Yep.
So how do you try to break down fat to keep your muscle? How would you go about that?
If you're trying to break down fat and keep your muscle. So trying to break down fat but keep your muscle. So we want to keep your body from breaking down your muscle. So that's why it's important to like feed your body, fats, carbs, and everything. So it's breaking down that and not sneaking into your muscles and tearing that apart. So I don't think I'm explaining that very well. But just like making sure your body stays in that building anabolic state, because when you start not having enough energy, it starts breaking down your muscles. So just making sure you're well fed and always getting something to eat, and you're just, does that kind of make sense?
No,
Okay. Oh Lord.
like, I understand what you mean, but it doesn't really, no, it doesn't help. Like,
Okay. So, like, you just want to make sure, like, when you're in practice and stuff, or like lifting weights, if you're not eating something before that, or like if you haven't eaten anything all day, your body has no readily available energy in your system, so it starts breaking down your muscles. So just make sure you eat something, and then you're building muscle. Okay.
what if your goal is not to build muscle? Just to keep what you have and drop your weight a little bit.
He's trying to say, like, how do you get rid of fat but keep the muscle? Yeah. Like the fat that you already have.
Like basically drop your body fat percentage.
That's what.
Okay.
That's what I mean.
Okay. The same thing, like, we don't want to be breaking down your muscle, but for that, like, you just want to be like eating less calories, so your body is like losing a little bit of weight. So yeah, you would want to be eating less calories, so your body's like burning fat and everything, but we want to make sure you're not like trying to like starve, because that's when you're going to be losing muscle. So, does that make a little bit of sense to anyone? Okay. Or if anybody can explain that a little bit better, help me out.
Like, you still eat your vegetables, you eat your fruits, but you don't eat like the white bread, the white rice, like the starch.
Yep, that's good. How about you, afterwards, I'll answer this, so maybe I can explain it better to you, okay? Okay. We'll get you sorted out. So the goals of recovery, so the goals after practice is to restore those fluids and electrolytes, replace muscle fuel, which is carbs, and then provide protein to help repair muscles and build muscles. So I said, like, replace muscle fuel, that's replacing those glycogen stores in your muscles that might have gotten tapped into during practice. And I'll kind of go over that next part too, so don't really pay attention to that. This is pretty basic, like, food advice, but recovery snacks right after practice, a hard practice. So a lot of you, raise your hands if a lot of you go to like your protein powders after practice. Okay. I feel like more of you use like protein powders. Okay. You? Okay. So good recovery snacks would be a peanut butter and jelly sandwich with some chocolate milk, a fruit and yogurt smoothie, graham crackers with peanut butter and milk, or trail mix and a sports drink. So obviously that's whole foods that are meeting your needs without resorting to supplements and powders, and I'll go into more of that in a little bit. Stay with me, we're almost done, I promise. Okay, recovery meals, again, simple whole foods, eggs, toast, fruit, chicken, potato, green beans, or spaghetti with a salad. So I'll kind of go over that a little bit more too. Stay with me. I promise we're almost done. So after easy, not a very hard practice, that's what your plate should look like. So that's kind of what we went through at the beginning. Half your plate fruits and vegetables, a little bit of a little bit of grains, and a little bit of protein. And then still a side of dairy, even though they don't show it. On harder days, like on a really hard training day or after a really hard game or something, you would want more of those grains. So more of the breads, more of the pastas, because you need more of that type of carb. So easy days, hard days. Simple tips when you're traveling. I know for sports you travel a lot, so trying to pack healthy snacks with you, like string cheese yogurt, vegetables, just anything healthy, try to pack it with you so you're not just eating bags of chips on the way to your games. In a hotel at breakfast, try to avoid all of the like donuts and pastries and like muffins, because those are giving you so many calories but not nutrition at all. So you're just giving yourself so much sugar but like nothing else to get you through the rest of your day. So kind of avoiding that and choosing more of your healthier foods like eggs and fruit, milk, yogurt, things like that. At gas stations, really trying to look for more of healthy things to mix in with probably your unhealthy things. So looking for fresh fruit or trail mix or granola bars, and not always going for pop in a bag of chips. At fast food, trying to stick to grilled and not crispy, because crispy means it's fried and it's just more unhealthy for you. Bigger is not always better, so don't upgrade the size of your meal. Simple. Okay, eating at the CAF, I know you can't see that side, but it's just listing what different lines you have in your cafeteria. So all of those different lines, like you might not think that they're healthy, but they can be a very healthy part of a balanced plate. So say you're at the pizza bar, pizza shouldn't take up that whole plate, right? Because we're learning how to eat healthy. So at the CAF, if you go through the pizza line, how much of that plate is pizza? Half. Okay, so half of that plate is pizza, and not like a stack of pizza 10 slices high, but maybe like 1 or 2, and the other half fruits and vegetables, so like maybe a salad or something. So 1 or 2 slices of pizza, fruits and vegetables. Okay? Okay, we're learning. Huh? Oh, okay. Another little tip, so eating in your dorm room. I put that little recipe up there. It's just a quick little simple thing to make in your dorm room, and it's perfect for breakfast or snacks, or eat it before practice or after practice. Other little tips are to keep healthy snacks in your dorm room so you're not just piling in a whole bunch of really high calorie things. So like hummus and pretzels and vegetables. Also a good little tip, when you're studying for tests, instead of mindlessly, snacking on a whole bag of chips, snack on frozen fruit, because it helps keep you awake and it's very low calorie and it's also giving you nutrition. Okay, disclaimer, I saw that tip on the internet and it looked like a very dietitian approved tip. So if you missed eating at the CAF, instead of driving into Great Bend and getting Freddy's for dinner, you probably need something from Walmart anyways. So pick up a rotisserie chicken that's sitting right by the checkout, and then pick up a bag of frozen broccoli and rice, steam it in your microwave, and that's a very healthy meal compared to just going to Freddy's. So a little dietitian tip from the internet.
Because we have the dinner at 5, around 8 or 9, I want to eat again, so I all time make noodles or something like that. What can I do? Like it is ramen bad?
Ramen.
Like ramen.
When you cook it, it is. When you cook it, it is.
Yeah, so maybe trying to, I don't know how you cook it, but maybe trying to make it.
Because I burned the water.
Oh, okay. Okay. Do you make ramen like the little packs of ramen noodles, or are you somehow doing something else?
Yeah, like just small time.
Okay, like the cheap little packs, you know? Okay, those have a little packet of seasoning, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so use less of that seasoning, and it'll be a little better for you. So, but other than that, yeah, that's fine. But also trying to keep a little bit healthier snacks in your dorm room.
What about the talk that we have to be at 8 or 9 because we have to be at 5? They eat again or don't eat?
Yeah, if you're hungry, eat. Yeah. Yes. What?
Basically, everybody knows that track and field is very different.
Yep.
Different events eat different kind of stuff. Jumpers eat different. Throwers
Yep.
definitely eat different. So for like us throwers, let's just say we eat right around the clock.
Right. What did you say?
Basically, us throwers eat right around the clock.
We eat all the
It
time.
doesn't
Okay.
really.
All the time, constantly.
Thanks for the translation.
So, let me talk about myself because I can't talk about anybody. So in the morning, let's say I wake up, go to morning practice. Breakfast, I have 2 plates. You know, one like a lot of eggs in one, and then got some
Okay.
sausages, and the other plate you got your toast.
Okay.
You got your toast in the morning. You know that's breakfast.
Yep.
It's heavy. It's not-
Okay.
And then the problem with the rest of the day in the cafeteria is the food is basically crap.
Okay.
I can't say it another way. So the only thing to get there is basically burgers or pizza or fries or whatever. If you want, you can go to the where the other food is. So besides that, the only good sensible meal we have the entire day is breakfast.
Okay, I'm gonna say think a little bit harder at lunch and supper. I think I would agree. I mean, you're at a community college, that's just what you get, compared to like I came from K-State and that was like night and day difference between the food, but that's just, this is community college food, so yeah. But just think a little bit different. So like on that main meal, like what's that main protein? You make like a really good salad out of that. Like if they're just having chicken, can you just put that onto a salad and make it decent? No? Okay. I don't think I can help you. Yeah. Yeah, I can't help if the food doesn't taste that great, so you're on your own for that one. For weight gain? More calories, yep.
It's like a lot more.
Yep, so he asked like what you do for weight gain. I mean, that would just be more calories of healthy things, so. Yep. Okay, the next part. Okay, listen, we're almost done. So supplements, this is kind of my favorite part in this, because I think probably a lot of you probably take supplements or use like protein powders, pre-workout, stuff like that, so raise the hands if you do. Okay. Okay, so supplements, okay, stay with me here. Supplements, so anything that comes in a bottle in a pill form, supplement. Also anything that's like pre-workout, post-workout, any sort of like powder is also a supplement. None of that is regulated by the FDA. You have absolutely zero idea what is in that, even though you think you know what's in it, but it's unregulated, you don't know. So usually with athletes, it's kind of a touchy little thing because you can be putting something in your body that's going to fail a drug test for you. If you're getting some super sketchy supplement that you heard does all these great things for you and you fail a drug test but you haven't done drugs, you had a very sketchy supplement. So yeah, the ones that are safe to use, that are verified by a third party, have an NSF little label on them, or they have an informed sport certification. I can't say that, but you can, certification. Thank you. So yeah, they're not regulated, so you have no idea like how pure they are, how safe they are, or if what they're promising you on that bottle is actually like what it's going to help do for you. Maybe. So claims that are too good to be true probably are. So if you're taking something that's supposed to be more energizing, burn more fat, boost your metabolism, or boost your testosterone, I mean, it's not doing what it's doing, or it's not doing it like you think it's doing it, I guess I should say. I'm a big advocate for food first, so a well-balanced diet can give you everything that you need to be healthy. I don't know, I just, supplements are just like, they have their place in certain people's diets, but for the most part you can get what you need from food. So like that, so say if you're taking amino acid supplements out of a bottle, you're probably spending quite a bit on them, and you can get the same thing plus more from eating a turkey sandwich. So cheap and you're getting more. So I know you can't really read that side either, but I just list multivitamins, and then the next one's caffeine, and then creatine, protein and amino acids, and then omega-3s, and kind of just the risks of those. So the like GI distress and cramps and stuff, that comes from the extra crap that's in those, the extra ingredients that your body doesn't know how to metabolize because it's not a food, and your body can only metabolize these 4 things. So a lot of times in powders and everything, there's a lot of added chemicals and just stuff that your body doesn't know how to process, and so you'll either pee it out, poop it out, or it gets stored in your liver for a pretty long time, and it just leads to not so great of things. So always try to think food first. How can I get more food into my diet? And I know at Barton the cap is not that great, so think outside the box, I guess. And then so everyone take out your phone and pull your calculator up. So first, before we do this, those of you, for anyone that might like keep track of how much protein they're getting, how did you figure out how to do that? Where did you find that information? So I'll just say when I Googled like how to calculate protein needs, you're not seeing accurate information. So we're going to calculate what all of you need. So anybody with a calculator, take your body weight in pounds. So what you weigh in pounds and divide it by 2.2. So your body weight in pounds divided by 2.2, you're now in kilograms. So then take that number. This is the protein needs for athletes. Over here, you can see that it's a little less, like the average adult, me, I would fit into that. You guys would all mostly be that. That 2 grams of protein per kilogram is very high, and I would say none of you need that much protein. For the girls, I had them do 1.2 and 1.3, and for you guys, I would probably do 1.4 or 1.5 grams per kilogram. That 2 is, if you did 2, you all are getting way too much protein, I would say. So take that body weight you have in kilograms and times it by, let's do 1.5. So what are you getting? What do you have?
You just did it. I see the numbers.
I know.
Okay, so that kilograms times 1.5, what'd you get?
I'll just have a question.
Okay.
Is there a limit of what your body can take in protein and then just flush it out after you get that limit?
Okay, so let me repeat that so I can make sure that the question was right. So, okay, now I don't remember what you asked. So taking in, if you take in too much.
Yeah, would it just flush it out or would you actually use it?
Good question. So your body can only utilize a certain amount at a time. So what is someone's day that they got? How many grams?
150.
150. So if you ate 150 grams of protein in one sitting, there's no way your body is using all that. Absolutely no way. You are peeing it out, pooping it out, you're getting rid of it. That's why at a meal, it's kind of recommended, anywhere from like 20 to 50 grams per meal, because that's what your body can utilize at a time. So that's why it's just important to spread that out during the day. So, you know, at breakfast, at a snack, at lunch, at another snack, just always getting a source of protein in so you know your body's using it. Because if you're trying to get in a whole bunch at one time, you're pooping out all your protein. So
what does the number mean again?
that's how many grams of protein you need in a day. And you know, if you use a different like grams per kilogram, you can change that number. For you, I wouldn't go anything above 1.5. So on the internet, if you type it in, a lot of people will do 1 gram per pound of body weight. So say for someone in here who weighs 250 pounds, you shouldn't be eating 250 grams of protein. Okay. So I just wanted to go through that step with you because what you find on the internet is not always the right information. So yeah, that's how you do your protein needs. Okay, so we're almost done. A couple little tips from me to you to keep in mind. Tackle weight change during the off season. You as athletes are here to perform during your season, and unless your coach really wants to kind of tackle like weight changes, that needs to be something you're doing in the off season because you're here to perform at your best during season. And with that, set realistic timelines for any weight or body changes. So if you're like, oh, I'm gonna gain 10 pounds of muscle in 2 weeks, that you're not doing it. Also, show up well fueled so that training results in improved performance. Again, you're here to perform, so making sure that you are coming well fueled to practice, well fueled to games, and fueling yourself during that day is going to help your performance because you're here to perform. Always look for reputable sources of nutrition. A little tip for that, if you're interested in anything related to nutrition, type that into Google. So like if you're interested in macro counting, type in macro counting dietitian. It'll pull up articles written by dietitians, and it's evidence-based, accurate knowledge of how to do these things. So yes.
All right, you said for the weight gain in the off season, what if we don't really have one? Like we play like all year.
So would there be like a time of year that those like whatever sport you do matters the most, I guess? What sport are you doing? Baseball.
Yeah, I mean the spring, I guess.
Okay, so I don't know, like if there's just one that those like games matter the most, like that's the season you wouldn't want to be tackling like weight changes and stuff. So, but yeah, your guys are a little different, I guess. And then also another important tip, so your guys's, yep, we're almost done, I promise. So when you're in college, so the time between you're like 18 and 24-ish, your college years are when you are setting up your bones for the rest of your life. So you are hitting peak bone mass between 18, 24-ish. So if you're not fueling yourself during this such important time for your bones, when you're in your 50s, 60s, 70s, you're gonna kind of hate how you treated your body when you were in your early 20s. So just making sure that that's another reason why you have to properly fuel yourself, because what you do now is affecting you when you're getting older. And I work with a lot of older people at work, and you just want to take care of yourself when you're young. So last tip, find a registered dietitian nutritionist. We know how to do a lot of like what you're probably Googling. It's just we don't necessarily promote a lot of things like all the fad diets that come out. We know how to do them, but we understand kind of why you shouldn't do all these things. So you won't see us promoting them, but we can help you do them if you want to. So another little tip to that, if you meet with a dietitian, or if like after hearing me talk up here, you're like, oh, I wouldn't want to go like have a consult with this girl, don't like shut out all dietitians because of that. So say like you came and met with me because you wanted a meal plan and you just like didn't mesh with me, like don't be like, oh, I'm never going to meet with a dietitian again because they don't know what they're doing. So don't discredit the whole profession because of one like bad experience. So that's my little tip there. So what all questions do you have, if any? Yes?
What's your opinion on monohydrate creatine?
Good Lord. What did you say?
Creatine.
Okay, so, okay, again, try to get that from food instead of, like, is it powder form? Yeah. So anything powder form is a food-like substance. It's made in a lab. It's thrown together with chemicals and preservatives, and it's in a powdered form. So it's a food-like substance, whereas food, your body knows exactly what to do with it. So I would say if you can get a lot of things from food, you don't need to be spending the money on supplements and everything like that. But not to say that you shouldn't do them. Sometimes there's a place for protein supplements and stuff like that, but consistently using them, I would say probably not, if that makes any sense. So it's just, a lot of extra stuff can be in those types of things, and it builds up in your body because after a while you just don't know how to metabolize a lot of that stuff. So it's why it's important to just stick to this stuff, and alcohol a little less. So any other questions? No?